All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, that great millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. I want to get into the thievery of the so-called white man in one of the greatest acts of theft in human history, in the history of mankind, in the form of stealing tissue samples unbeknownst to the donors of Jake, okay? Most specifically in this Judite woman named Henrietta Lacks, whose cells were a term that they deemed immortal, okay? Because they can pretty much survive in any environment, in a lab environment, and can be reproduced, and they didn't die, okay? And the medical advancements that were allowed from these tissue samples, man, these cells of this Jake, man. All right. So, somewhere near, well, really, it's an unquantifiable number in the amount of revenue that this man has garnered as a result of experimenting with these cells, and the medical discoveries that it has resulted in, the testing and usage of these cells, man. Okay. I'm just gonna read a little bit of this. It says, Henrietta Lacks was an African American woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa cell line, the first immortalized human cell line, and one of the most important cell lines in medical research. An immortalized cell line reproduces indefinitely under specific conditions, and the HeLa cell line continues to be the source of invaluable medical data to the present day. And it was changed to HeLa because if they used her name, then they would have to pay them, okay? And mind you, this woman and her family and her all of her people didn't get a dime from this, man. When trillions of dollars, really an infinite amount of riches as this man gained from this, all right? And then when you look at it, see, you're not supposed to be checking for lumps, all right? This woman was checking for lumps and then fucking went to Esau to get it checked out. And he started doing all type of experimental methods on her. For example, putting radium in her cervix, all right? Straight up, like in her vaginal cavity, to try to so-called fight off the cancer, which is extremely wicked, man. And that's coming out, it's getting exposed more and more as well. The mad scientist shit that the so-called white man has done to our people, okay? And then the advancements that he's gained from that, all right? And he did it because he has no regard for the quality of life or no regard whatsoever for a nigga or a spick's life, okay? It's worthless to him. And really he has a rage and a hatred and a contempt for these people, to where he was just completely dogging us out, especially over here in slavery, when we got brought over here, and then afterwards, leading up to this fucking day. But even after so-called emancipation, fucking this man has been dogging our people out, all right? Slaying our people with impunity, performing fucking mad scientist experiments, testing shit out on our people, okay? And it goes deep, all right? And this man is gonna fucking pay. And look where she went. She went to fucking John Hopkins, man. John Hopkins let's check it out. It's a teaching hospital and biomedical research facility of the John Hopkins School of Medicine. Okay. Let's see. Just kind of wanted to get a scale for how prominent is this place in comparison. Oh, there it is. John Hopkins Hospital is widely regarded as one of the world's greatest hospitals and medical institutions. Okay. But the history of this place is fucking riddled with corruption and scandal. All right. They were fucking experimenting and profiting off of Jake left and right, man. All right. So she was the unwitting, meaning she didn't know about it. It was unbeknownst to her, source of these cells from a tumor biopsy during treatment for cervical cancer at John Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, in U.S. in 1951. Okay. These cells were then cultured by George Otto Gay, who created the cell line known as HeLa, which is still used for medical research. Let's see, because this nigga was probably teaming, huh? This nigga was probably a teamonite. Let's check it out. Would you look at that? Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the son of German immigrants, Frank and Emma Gay. Okay. Teamonite devils, man. Which a lot of the wisdom and knowledge of Esau is within that tribe. All right. A lot of discovery. If you look at fucking what the Germans have invented and discovered, okay, it's massive. All right, it says, as was then the practice, no consent was required to culture the cells obtained from lax treatment. Neither she nor her family were compensated for their extraction or use. Okay. It says, I'll just read that real quick. Even though some information about the origins of HeLa's immortalized cell lines was known to researchers after 1970, the Lax family was not made aware of the line's existence until 1975. Fucking 24 years after they biopsied or pretty much cut out those tissue samples and later discovered them to be immortal. It was 24 fucking years until the time that they even told the family. All right. And at that point, they had already made groundbreaking strides in the medical field of different treatments and vaccines and cures for shit. And nothing cure. The nigga doesn't want to cure shit. He just wants to find different methods of treating shit and to make more of a profit is what this whole industry is centered around. Okay? But it's wicked because when you look at the cell lines and the DNA and our makeup, especially that of an Israelite, they are the prince and princesses of the power, the children of the Most High, likened unto direct descendants. So we have the Most High's DNA within us, okay? When you look at the double helix spiral and it's unraveled, a lot of like the top scholars and researchers have discovered that to be, and deem that as Jacob's ladder. It's a deep breakdown when you go into it. All right. But that's what that DNA is, man. It got the Most High's encoding in it. And especially that of an Israelite, right? Especially. So they were taking these which did not belong to them. All right. And appropriated it as they deemed. And they fucking, listen, it says, with knowledge of the cell line's genetic provenance becoming public, its use for medical research and commercial purposes continues to raise concerns about privacy and patients' rights, because this man has it on the books that if he's treating you in one of his hospitals or medical facilities and you consent to the treatment, you don't have to give consent for him to take whatever he wants pretty much from your body. Okay? That's why they're over here drawing extra blood off Jake. That's why they're over there, taking the extra tissue samples and shit. And they're experimenting on him and making gains. And it's wicked, man. It's extremely fucking wicked. So let's get into this right here. Let's see what has been done. Let's see. George Otto Gay, the first researcher to study lax cancerous cells, observed that these cells were unusual and that they reproduced at a very high rate and could be kept alive long enough to allow more in-depth examination. Until then, cells cultured for laboratory studies survived for only a few days at most, which was not long enough to perform a variety of different tests on the same sample. Lax cells were the first to be observed that could be divided multiple times without dying, which is why they became known as immortal. All right. After Lax's death, Gay and Mary Kubasek, his lab assistant, take further HeLa samples while Henrietta's body was at Johns Hopkins autopsy facility. So just like brothers say that they take Jake's organs and shit, harvest those hoes, after Jake is deceased, this is an account of that. And if you don't think that that's not going down, then you're sadly mistaken. If you don't think that that's going down on a high fucking rate, this man is a madman, man. Okay? And you have no idea, you couldn't even fathom the kind of shit that he's doing. Okay? The Most High's got to take him out. But it's deep, it's heavy, because the Most High's got the spirit in him to be just a complete fucking demon, man. All right? It says, lax cells were the first to be observed. That could be Slovakia. The roller tube technique was the first method used to culture the cells obtained from the samples that Kubasek collected. Gay was able to start a cell line from lax sample by isolating one specific cell and repeatedly dividing it, meaning that the same cell could then be used for conducting many experiments. They became known as HeLa cells because Gay's standard methods for labeling samples was to use the first two letters of the patient's first and last names. It says, the ability to rapidly produce HeLa cells in the laboratory setting has led to many important breakthroughs in biomedical research. For example, in 1954, Jonas Salk was using HeLa cells in his research to develop the polio vaccine. To test his new vaccine, the cells were mass-produced in the first ever cell production factory. Additionally, Chester Southam, a leading virologist, injected HeLa cells into cancer patients, prison inmates, and held the individuals in order to observe whether cancer could be transmitted, as well as to examine if one could become immune to cancer by developing an acquired immune response. It says HeLa cells were in high demand and put into mass production. They are mailed to scientists around the globe for research into cancer, AIDS, and the effects of radiation and toxic substances, gene mapping, and countless other scientific pursuits. Okay? How much revenue do you think could have been acquired from these scientific pursuits, man? Okay? It's unfathomable. It's unquantifiable. All right? Because it's being, when you look at cause and effect, and you look at all the different things that have been invented and created and developed as a result of these, okay? As a result of these cells that they stole, and they didn't fucking cash out the family not one fucking dime, man. Okay. So it says, HeLa cells were the first human cells successfully cloned in 1955 and has since been used to test human sensitivity to tape, glue, cosmetics, and many other products. There are almost 11,000 patents involving HeLa cells. Okay. And it goes on it goes on to show you how wicked the whole deal was, because then they started going and fucking taking blood and tissue samples from her family. Okay, they're like, shit, let's go and see what else we can get from her kin. All right. So, and then it goes and talks about all the privacy concerns, right? How without consent can you take something from somebody and then fucking get massive revenue off of that? I mean, it's extremely wicked, man. But this man, he pretty much going into him holding himself not guilty. All right. Our oppressors have slain us, raped and robbed us, and they hold us not guilty, man. All right. Let's see. Solarkia. Okay, this is in Obadiah. All right. The 5th verse. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So Esau, Edom, the biggest thief in the history of the planet, has taken in abundance. He's taken exceedingly over the top, okay? More than it's even necessary to sustain yourself, okay? And that, such has he done to our people primarily, okay? If you look at how many inventions and ideas that he's stolen from our people, and how he can never get enough, he has an insatiability for gains, ill-gotten gains, and for blood, okay, and the destruction of our people. You remember in how Haman was over there with Ahasuerus. It was, I believe, fucking Artaxerxes, right? Was over there trying to get him to destroy Israel. And that's what this nigga's been doing ever since, because he himself came into power. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. All right, even in that scripture, it tells you the crimes of this man against our people. Okay, his whole MO and purpose is to seek to destroy us, man. All right, and he does so to the maximum and above. He actually does it overload to try to fucking drain every last drop out of our people, man. Okay, he says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Okay? So, the Most High, through the Most High's revelation, is how the things of Esau are being searched out and are being revealed right now, man. Okay? All the shit he was doing behind closed doors, even if it's just a few of the things, it's enough. It's groundbreaking. It's enough. It's grounds for this man's execution already off the top, right? Just off the things that have been exposed. Not to mention the innumerable acts of wickedness that this man is guilty of. All right, but that's what is going down right now. How are the things of Esau searched out? The Most High is doing it, man. He's having these things become exposed. All right, through the Most High, the consumption of this motherfucker by the Spirit of the Most High's mouth, by the prophets. All right, that are just mere vessels of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, that he's using, that he's speaking through to expose these things, man. Okay, because his end is nigh. It's coming time where this motherfucker has to pay. Okay. This is Job 20:15. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. Okay. And a few verses up, it talks about how his bones are filled with the sin of his youth. Okay. This whole fucking man's history and track record is riddled and fucking mired with rape, robbery, murder, deception. Okay. And the most the most filthy, abominable acts known to man, man. Okay. The degree of fuckery of the things this man has done, especially to our people, is it's fucking stifling. Okay. It's mind-boggling. But the Most High is gonna he's gonna cast it out of his belly and liken into a vomiting, and violently too. Okay. He's gonna projectile heave up all that which he has swallowed down, man. All right. And finishing off in Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay, so destruction is going to come to this man, for increasing that which is not his. Then mostly the jewels of the Heavenly Father, the Israelites, man, and all of their anything that pertains to them. In this fucking instance, it was our actual fucking tissue. Okay, our actual fucking skin, and Salakia for the lack of the correct term, but this is our actual makeup. Okay, that he took of the shit that he increased, which is not his, which equated to him doing that, equated to infinite revenue. All right, which this man is gaining and heaping up to himself, even to this day, man. So destruction to this motherfucker, and it's gonna come swiftly. Most High is gonna collapse this fucking place. Yahushua is gonna come back, going straight to Basra, right? And that's a Basra, just like Israel's a people before it's a place. Edom or Idumea or Basra is a people before it's a place as well. They're fucking Edomites, man. Okay, he's gonna go straight to Edom, to the Edomites, and he's gonna slay. He's gonna kill and fucking annihilate these people for the shit that they've done. All right, and it's actually becoming a parable and a taunting proverb. A taunt is like to taunt someone is kind of like to what's another word for taunt? Let's get it. To taunt is to a remark made in order to anger, wound, or provoke someone. Okay, there's another good synonym. To mock. That's what I was trying to think of. To mock, man. Oh yeah, to tease. All right. Provocation is likened into provoking. All right. For you to provoke you to get froggy, so you could make a move so the Most High could destroy you. And that's what's happening right now. You know, you over here trying to further your agendas, trying to rush them along. You got fucking all these different campaigns and agendas to destroy our fucking people. That's why it says he's gonna come down with great wrath, knowing that he has but a short time. All right, this devil's on his way out. All right, and all the riches and fortune that he's gained off of our people. Okay, from examples like this to literal slavery, how this man has generated fucking innumerable wealth from that institution of slavery. Okay, how there's corporations that fucking came to dominance from that, and that are still have monopolies, and in the fucking at the top of the food chain to this day. Okay, from slavery. All right, the American economy, when you look at King Cotton and all these other resources and wealth generation methods that they had, that they were able to exploit from slavery, how the American economy was thrusted above all world economies because of that free labor. Okay, from that to the intellectual appropriation. What's it called? Intellectual property that he deemed what belonged to him as being slaves or employees of this man. Any slave or an employee, because an employee is a slave, they have it on the books that anything that you think of and anything you develop under that man's employ, right, or under that man's fucking ownership, that anything you think of, develop, invent belongs to him. So how many inventions and different creations and innovations do you think he appropriated to himself based on that law of intellectual property, based on that concept? Huh? Okay, it's to the level of it being something you can't even measure. How much he has stolen from our people: ideas, innovations, inventions. Okay, actual men, like it says. And let's finish off with that, actually. Souls of men in Revelation, to show you what this nigga. But what does it say? Woe unto this motherfucker for that destruction. This is in Revelations 18, let's start at um, huh. No, it's good. It's good because the context should be, um, the viewer should know the context for real though. Okay, let's see. In 13, what does it say? 12. It says, I'll start at 11. And the merchants, Revelation 18:11, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Down to the 13th verse. And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Okay, going to how vast and how deep this man's thievery goes. All right, to show you the extent of this man increasing that which is not his. All right, it goes even to the extent of the soul of man. All right, and it's primarily that of the Israelite, the prince of the power, who he's been attempting to destroy since the time Jacob and Esau, the progenitors of the so-called Black Latinos and Native Americans, and the so-called Caucasian man. It goes back to that birthright debacle, if you will. All right, for the hatred against thy brother Jacob. That's this man's primary target, and his whole infatuation, is to destroy us, man. Okay, but Most High is gonna meet him with destruction. Okay, Most High is gonna cast out all that he's stolen out of his belly, violently, man. All right.